Yesterday you got in control. I have a plan, Eric, and today you get angry and wants to die, Eric. Let me start with this. I've got a lot of symptoms, right? One of them is, I used to, for the first 3 months of being sick, I couldn't sleep. I'd get like a couple hours of sleep a night. And even though shit got crazier after that, that period of time may have been the worst. If you've ever experienced it was insomnia plus I had other things going on, right? I think shit was happening in my brain, but insomnia is fucking horrible. And if you've had it for months at a time, you know how much it can break you as a person. Now my sleep is just terrible. It's just, at least I can fucking sleep. It's just terrible. And I get caught in REM sleep, rapid eye movement, where you dream. And a lot of people think that REM sleep is the restorative stage of sleep, but actually it's not deep sleep. REM sleep is not deep sleep. Deep sleep is when you don't dream, and that is considered the most restorative phase of sleep. So I get caught in REM sleep, and I don't go into deep sleep. And this makes nighttime, like nights, feel like an eternity. It feels like an entire lifetime. So when I reference when I sleep, forgive the way I talk. It's gonna be fucking stupid. But when I reference, my sleep, I tell my friend who's not in town, I say I play Roy, and what I'm referencing is Rick and Morty, where in this show, it's a cartoon show, they put on a VR headset in an episode in an arcade, and they basically, without realizing it, they live the entire lifetime of another individual, and the goal of the game is to live as long as humanly possible. So basically, they live an entire lifetime in the game. So I tell my friend, like, going to bed, gonna go play some more Roy tonight. And let me just give you an example of what my dreams are like, because they last a fucking lifetime. And they're all cohesive. All the characters stay in character. There's no weird dreamlike elements to it. Extremely vivid and realistic. And holy shit, I wake up and I'm like, please God, be 6 a.m. and it's fucking midnight. I'm like, oh God, kill me. But I messaged my friend, and every time I say you, I'm talking about my friend here. So I told him this morning, I sent him a message. I said, played Roy again last night. Dreamt we were all kids from the same family. Mom was gone, and we took her old 82 Chevy out for a dusty joyride. Almost crashed. We lived in a very small home with a linoleum flooring. When we got back, we found there was a cake cooling by the windowsill. We dug into it. You were about 8 years old and avoided eating the edges. You lit a candle and tried to hold a penny in the flame without burning your hands. We laughed since you couldn't hold it long, and you eventually dropped the penny, which left a crescent moon-like mark in the linoleum to add to our reasons for getting in trouble. Our slightly overweight mama came home back from her businesses and halted in the doorway at the scene. She walked a few feet from the door to the kitchen before chuckling to herself. You boys ain't in trouble. If that's what you was wondering, had a better day than me, looks like. Years passed, and we never left that house. The melted mark from the penny remained there as a testament to our rambunctious youth. Some of us had wives and kids who all lived together. Others had moved on. I was sweeping the floor, passing over the penny mark, as you guys discussed what to do with Ma. She was old now and couldn't care for herself and was losing her memory. The day she wasn't able to find the bathroom in our small 80s home was the day we drove her to a nursing home. She lay in bed there, and when Adam walked in the room, she didn't recognize him, her son, but tapped her cheek to indicate she wanted a peck. Adam kissed her on both her cheeks, and she was overjoyed by this gesture, wiggling joyfully in her hospital-like bed. And this shit goes on and on and on. I live an entire lifetime every time I go to sleep. I hate it. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video today is I'm angry, and I'm an angrier person now than I used to be for many reasons. One, neurologically, because my brain is fucking irritated all the time. So it can make it a little bit harder for me to control my emotions. To be honest, I feel like I do an amazing job under the circumstances. I see people come home from work from a rough day and they're throwing things around the kitchen because they're so fucking irritated. I've had about 385 worst days of my life now in a row, and I don't do that. So, I'll fucking punch a pillow like I did this morning, but generally speaking, I can hold my tongue. And like I said before, there's nothing more powerful than an angry man who can hold his tongue and utilize anger in an appropriate fashion. So I try to do that as best as I can. Don't remember where I was going with that. Here we go again. Why did I hit record? I don't know why I hit record. I forget what I was fucking saying. Anger. Why am I angry? Oh, I got the results from the PET scan back this morning from Johns Hopkins, and I knew there was a high likelihood of it being normal, and it did come back normal. I just wanted it read by somebody who would read it within the context of encephalitis and not just the local radiologist. So I thought I was prepared for a normal diagnostic reading. But I guess I wasn't, because it triggered a lot of memories. And a lot of those memories are, I go and get a diagnostic done, spinal tap, and everything's normal. Normal. I'm fucking crazy. Everything's coming back normal. And it created a lot of stress in my life, as every time I got a diagnostic done, I was hoping, dear God, please let there be something that's wrong so I can get quick treatment and it would all come back normal. Now, historically, the only things that have come back normal are slightly elevated protein levels in my spinal fluid, which is indicative of brain damage to some level, right? And elevated intracranial pressure, moderately elevated intracranial pressure. And that's it. Besides some neurological deficits during my primary care exam that neurologists don't give a fuck about, because it's my primary care doctor, not a neurologist. So all of these things are non-specific, and neurologists love things that are specific. They want it to be fucking specific. And if it doesn't, how dumb is that? They want it to be specific. They want it on a piece of paper. Like, by those rules, I could diagnose somebody, right? I get an MRI back, the fucking thing is lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. They're having seizures, We give them corticosteroids, they respond to that, then we fucking escalate treatment. It's the easiest thing in the fucking world. And a lot of neurology and a lot of medicine is extremely esoteric, and these people are intelligent to a narrow field. But then I look at autoimmune encephalitis research, like the cutting edge research, and it's like a fucking 10-year-old could understand the diagnostic process or diagnostic flow of autoimmune encephalitis the way that neurologists treat it now. It's like, get an MRI, spinal tap, EEG. If shit looks like he has encephalitis, give him first-line treatment. If that works, consider escalating to second-line treatment. It's really simple shit. And so now all I have, I got my PET scan back this morning. It was normal. And all that did was just trigger this feeling of the discouragement. It made me discouraged, and it kind of flipped me to the other side where, yesterday I was like, I have a plan. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to fight as hard as I can. And then, even though I thought I was ready for this thing, which I guess is small, it flipped me to the other side to be discouraged and depressed and feel like I have no hope for my future, and like, what doctor is going to take me seriously, and, how many more, how long do I have to wait? Because it's always been waiting. Back in the day, I asked our neurologist, can I get a referral to Mayo because she can't figure out what's going on? And she's like, sure, I'll get it to you within a week. 2 weeks passes. So I call her. I'm like, where's that Mayo referral? I'm fucking dying. Possibly active encephalitis. This is before steroids. She's like, yeah. We'll get the Mayo referral out. 2 more weeks passes. We call again. My mom writes me a letter, God bless her, writes my neurologist a letter saying, my sons are in pain. Get that fucking referral out. And she finally sends it out. It's this half-ass bullshit, dumbass thing that gets nowhere, and we get denied. And immediately, they said they sent off the Mayo referral, I went down there and asked for a copy, and I read it, and I said, we're fucked. And lo and behold, the Mayo didn't take us. So I've done self-referral to Mayo multiple times now. They're not accepting me. So I don't know. It just triggered a lot of anger in me and frustration. And I look back and I'm like, I'm so fucked up right now. And all I've had is steroids. I can find that in my mom's fucking medicine cabinet. Fucking corticosteroids. That's all I've had? Over 13 months of me trying my ass off to fucking get treatment or escalate a little bit, because I have viral prodrome. right? I feel like I have a virus. Viral prodrome, psychosis, response to steroids. It fits right inside this encephalitis block. But no, I don't have the fucking labs to back it up. And neurologists don't like that. So even though I fall directly in the category just by symptom presentation and response to steroids, they won't escalate treatment, even though I'm on my fucking ass right now. I'm on my ass, dying. I'm fighting for my life. That's not a joke. That's not hyperbole. I am fighting for my life right now. And I have this follow-up with a specialist who originally was like, I guess we can maybe do steroids. And I was like, please. And he's like, okay. I have a follow-up with him, right, like I mentioned. And I explained to him, listen, I'm still having all these symptoms. I'm dying over here. I try to be cordial and relate to his position and all this shit. But I tell him, like, I've been denied IVIG. Can we escalate to second-line therapy and see if we can just turn over a stone that has not been turned? Because I've only had one treatment, one drug, and I responded to it. And so I'm asking, rituximab is the drug that I'm asking, like, can we escalate to rituximab? Because number one, I responded to steroids. Number two, I have all the markers, viral prodrome, response to steroids, or psychosis, response to steroids. That's like a very simple, brief overview of like what would fit into an encephalitis category neatly. What was I saying? I don't remember. Don't know what I was fucking saying. Specialist appointment. I was asking for rituximab, and I told him I contacted the manufacturer, and I'm covered. It's free. It's free. I don't have to pay a fucking dime. And I said I acknowledge the risks. I don't have to pay a dime for it. Is there any reason why we should leave a stone unturned when I'm suffering? I'm living at my parents' house, And he basically boils it down to that, he doesn't want to escalate treatment because it's annoying, because patients keep coming back wanting more treatment and stuff. And I'm trying to make my case that I'm not a crazy patient and I just need help. And he turned me down. And like, let's go all the way back, right? I'm just dumping now is what I'm doing. Let's go all the way back, okay? All the way back to the beginning, September last year. Insomnia through the roof. Shit's happening in my brain. 2 months in, I'm not going to specify why, and I'm not specifying why, because no doctor has ever paid attention or believed me, or no family members believe me, so I'm not going to tell you why I suspected it, but I suspected encephalitis. I brought this up to my primary care doctor. She shook her head, because how rare is encephalitis? And I'm sure they hear it all the time from people like, I got a headache. Do I have encephalitis? When I first meet with my neurologist, she prescribes me, we do a spinal tap, good for her. I have elevated intracranial pressure, right? She calls it idiopathic in the exam, which means we don't know why. And idiopathic intracranial hypertension is something that happens usually in slightly overweight younger women, maybe in their late 20s. And can be spotted in an ophthalmic exam with a swollen optic nerve. And they get prescribed cetizolamide to reduce intracranial pressure. So she prescribed me, what was the drug? I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the drug that was a different one. I can't name the drug right off the top of my head, but it helps reduce intracranial pressure, but it's also an anticonvulsant. So she prescribes me that, and she puts me on an anticonvulsant before I get an EEG. So this completely bungles my EEG. She gives me an MRI, which good, glad she did. She didn't do a repeat MRI when symptoms got worse and I went psychotic, which would have been smart. She didn't give me a PET scan, which is more sensitive than an MRI in the case of an autoimmune process. She did not do any rush referrals to any specialist. She's not specialized. She's just a general neurologist. And then, shit like in the exam room, in the exam room, she would say things like, she gave me a referral to physical therapy because I was complaining of massive headaches, right? Burning, agitated, headaches, excruciating. And she was like touching my upper traps and going like, is this tense? Like, we'll get you a referral to physical therapy. I'm like, physical therapy? I was her personal trainer. I know what a fucking tight trap feels like. I don't have a tight trap, you dumb bitch. So it's like these doctors, fuck. These doctors are so smart, aren't they? They're so smart, but they're still people, right? And people are fucking stupid. Half of all people are dumber than average. And that applies to doctors. Plenty of people who don't hold common sense can make their way through med school just by being able to study and retain information. Lacking common sense is going to make you a shit doctor. And all I've seen is doctors who lack common sense and who don't care. And this especially applies to the specialty of neurology. You know, it's like I see my primary care doctor and she's looking at me. She's focused. She's asking, you know, what's wrong? What's going on? I see the internist doctor. I'm on defense because I'm prepared. I've had a lot of experience with neurologists who fucking shut me down. So I'm ready to fight, basically, you know, strategizing. And then I'm able to let my guard down because he's just a guy who cares and wants to know what's going on in my life. And he's like, yeah, sounds like it's an encephalitis process. Sorry, dude. That sounds like it really sucks. And then all these neurologists think they understand the entire brain. They think they know. And I've said it before, but like autoimmune neurological processes it's a very recent field of research. And then autoimmune encephalitis is 15 years old. So it's a bloodletting stage of research. And people are calling themselves autoimmune encephalitis specialists. And it's like, I stay away from those people. If I see somebody who says they're an autoimmune encephalitis specialist, I stay away because they'll shut me down immediately. They want to see the fucking hot MRI. They want to see the EEG that's all fucked up. They want the piece of cake case that fits so neatly within the category. And how hard is it to be a doctor if it fits that neatly in the category? I could do your fucking job. Now I come in, do I look like a fucking idiot? Do I look like an idiot? You know, don't answer that. But do I look like a fucking idiot? I go into these appointments. I'm a pretty intelligent individual, you know, relatively. I'm not one of their crazy kooky patients, you know, and I'm just like, I am dying over here. Can I get some help? And they just say no. And to cover their ass, they say placebo or fatigue syndrome or some other bullshit. Or they just don't even care, like my local neurologist who's gone on maternity leave. Her replacement gets fired because she chose a shitty replacement. And then they had to wait for a new one to show up. So then my brother's getting IVIG under nobody's care. Nobody's care. And he's paying out of pocket for it. He's like, do I continue? Do I not? Like, and I'm under nobody's care right now. So now I have to go find a neurologist who gives a shit. And to be honest, I'm dreading it so much. I'm dreading it because it takes a toll on me every time I have an appointment. It's stressful. It's just stressful. And I'm exceedingly sensitive to stress. And yet I do my best to get the fucking job done. So it's stressful, right? So I go to the I fly multiple states away to see a neurologist, right? I wait in their exam room, you know, and then it's an emergent appointment because I'm not waiting till spring. So now it's a 30-minute appointment for me to get out my whole story as fast as possible, help them understand exactly how much I'm struggling, see if they can even get a neurological workup. Like when I went to Seattle to get a workup from this specialist, he didn't even do a neurological workup. He just saw my, you know, referral notes and that's what he went off of. He didn't do a neuro workup. Even if he did and he found neurological deficits, he said he probably would say they're not specific. They're not specific. Your elevated protein, not specific. Elevated myelin basic protein, not specific. Elevated intracranial pressure, not specific. Atypical psychosis, not specific. Viral prodrome, not specific. It's like, dude, put the puzzle pieces together. I have to do it for them. You can see I'm pissed off. This all just came from, I'm already 20 minutes in, this just fucking flew by, but this all came from that negative PET scan, and it was like, I knew it was going to come back negative, because we're so late in the game. It's 13 months later. I've already had the first line treatment and had response to it. I'm not super surprised that it's not fucked up. But every time I've gotten a negative diagnostic, it's just been hugely discouraging. A non-specific diagnostic that comes up hot, they don't give a shit about it. Neurological deficits, they don't give a shit about it. This is your symptom presentation, they don't give a shit about it. Um, I'm I'm trying to strategize as best I can to prepare for neuro appointments so that they take me seriously. But then part of me is just like, I have to fucking strike gold to find a neurologist who's willing to care. And it's like have we lost like our concern for another person? Like, have they completely become numb to humanity? I'm not the only one. Why do I have to work so fucking hard? It's been 13 months. All I've had are steroids. That's fucking it. There's so much more on the table, There's so much more left to be unturned to try to help me. And nobody wants to turn over a fucking stone because it's inconvenient for them and they just want to move on to the next patient. And that's basically it. And I don't know what else to say. I try to be confident. I try to say, I'm finding this thing, I'm gonna choke it out. But just like any other person in a situation like this, I have my doubts. And when I have doubts for this one, it's intimidating because what are my doubts, right? If I think about it explicitly, what are my doubts? My doubts are that, okay, one, I'm not going to find a neurologist who's willing to help me in a timely manner. So now I'm going to, perhaps suffering for much longer. Worse than that is if I actually get treated with escalated medications and nothing works. Then what? Then I'm fucking dead. Because you don't live like this. You just don't. You just don't. You can't. You can't forever. You'd have to put me on a morphine pump. So those are my doubts, and that's what I'm scared of. I'm human, I have my doubts and my fears, and those intertwine so tightly. And I've tried to take I try to stay positive, right? I try to say, like, this is the hero's journey. I'm on the hero's journey, and I'm going to fight as hard as I can to get to a solution. I'm so deep in the shit right now that it's hard to think from the outside. And I just go, this is gonna be one of those stories where it was just a long struggle, but you're gonna make it, But then, I don't know, something small like that result just triggers shit in me. Where I just start doubting everything. What I'm doing, my plan, medicine. Can I even be fixed if somebody actually wanted to try? Because it's a monumental effort to get somebody to even give a shit. And if they did give a shit, would they even be able to fix me? I don't know. I can't know. And those are my doubts. So yesterday you got Eric with a plan and who was relatively calm, maybe a little medicated. And today you get the result of fucking trauma. Because all it took was one negative diagnostic, and I just fucking lost it. So let this be documentation for what it's like to be a French patient suffering immensely on the outside of medicine, where nobody wants to take a closer look. And if it doesn't fit within a box, bye. Fuck off out of my office. I don't want to see you again. You're not human. You're not worth preserving. I do not see you. I'm not meeting you where you need to be met. And I have to brush that off, right, as the patient. No big deal. I'll just keep fighting for months while I'm suffering immensely. I don't know. every video I make, I want to be as real as possible, right? I want to say what I'm thinking. I've said this many times. I now am a person who says what he thinks, and I don't just say things to fill the space. So, you know, I make a video yesterday where, you know, being positive and I got a plan and all that. And that's great, and it's maybe inspiring to some people. But there's another side of that, and that's a day like today, where I just want to fucking smash everything, and yeah, you can see when, you know, what a bad day looks like in comparison to a day where I feel like I've got things in order. God, I hope I make it. I really do. I'm gonna, you know, no matter what, I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can. It's not just me. My life affects, you know. I've got my brother. I have my dog. You know. The other day, I was just like, I love my dog. You know, he's a black Labradoodle named Watson. I love him, and I was just hugging on him, and I started crying. Like, God damn it. You know, he's a year older. I don't want to be sick, you know, during some of his best years. And then, you know, I'm seeing videos of my niece. And before I was 6, she was tiny. And she's just growing up before my eyes. And it makes me incredibly sad. Not to mention that, yeah. You can see I'm having a rough day. So, nothing more to be said. My plan is still the same. It's not going to change. I'm just frustrated, angry, sad, worried, scared. All the usual shit that you probably would feel going through a situation like this. And I'm sure some of you are in similar situations. Yeah. Thanks for listening to me rant for 30 minutes. Talk to you guys next time.